Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First to Cyclone Alfred, which is maintaining its fury as it slowly edges closer to the east coast, dumping heavy rain in the affected areas. The system proving to be unpredictable. Residents in its path told to remain indoors, with a flurry of flood warnings in effect from tonight. The cyclone is already affecting Tasmania, with various flights out of the state cancelled as Queensland continues to brace for the impact of Alfred. 3 Virgin and Jetstar services were scrapped in Hobart and 1 in Launceston, with Gold Coast Airport closed. Tomorrow's flights heading to Queensland from Tasmania are yet to be suspended. It has been revealed TT Line knocked back a $30 million lease for Spirit of Tasmania 4 and received a dozen expressions of interest. The ferry operator is one of the state-owned businesses the government is considering selling off, an idea which it may not have enough support for.
Nearly a week after confirming TT Line's lease bid for Spirit 4 was sunk, the Transport Minister has detailed how some of it played out.
Early inquiries were made from 14 parties.
Of those, 12 of them expressed interest in using the vessel for ferry services, while 2 considered it for accommodation. 4 business representatives inspected the Spirit in Scotland in mid-January before a long-term charter offer was made for a 12-month lease worth between $20 to $30 million.
Here we have the Labor Party for weeks on end asserting that somehow the government and TT Line had been lying to the people of Tasmania.
But there's no hard evidence, and the Scottish Government denies it was poised to use the new Spirit to house Ukrainian refugees.
Who was TT Line or Minister Abetz or Premier Rockcliffe actually negotiating with?
And there's more uncertainty facing the future of the new and existing Spirits as the Premier continues to look into a plan to palm off all state-owned businesses except Hydro.
Is the Premier really saying that in the midst of a crisis around TT Line and its inability to build a berth, that he is now putting it well and truly on the chopping block?
Some GBEs clearly more likely than others to go through a sale process. So I'm not going to play any silly rule in or rule out games.
Meaning the ships would no longer be in public hands.
Tasmanians love the Spirits. If they're privatised, the prices will almost certainly go up.
A sentiment shared by others in Parliament.
There's no way I'd ever want the Spirits to be sold off, ever.
Definitely no. You know, TT Line, it's an avenue there that's bringing people into the state.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Ousted former Treasurer Michael Ferguson still has the gambling industry firmly in his sights. In a speech to Parliament, he blasted lobbyists who derailed the government's promised cashless pokie reforms.
I'm continually appalled, but not surprised at the behaviour of some in the gambling lobby. They are fiercely protecting their extraordinary additional profits and lobbying to hold back reform.
Mr Ferguson also says he genuinely believed the Spirit of Tasmania berth upgrades would be delivered, but the government was not told the full story. Concerns are continuing to swirl around whether Tasmania will have a licence to have the Devils compete in the AFL in 2028. The league has reportedly agreed to allow club presidents to vote again on the licence if the state government can't fulfil its end of the deal in time.
Given there's a very real chance the stadium timeline will blow out, what assurances can you offer Tasmanians?
We will work through any challenges that are before us.
The Premier says he met with AFL representatives last week but said a second vote on Tassie's licence wasn't discussed. Tasmania's unions have marched on the steps of Franklin Square ahead of International Women's Day. They're calling for gender equality while backing existing work from home options, claiming while there's been some positive developments, more measures could be implemented.
A key ask of the union movement is we'd like to see paid reproductive health leave into the future as well.
I think when women gather, it's to show that women mean they matter and that the issues that are important to women matter.
Unions are concerned Peter Dutton's plans to stop remote work arrangements for public servants could affect working mothers. Meanwhile, a leading Tasmanian GP is calling for more to be done to improve women's health. Dr Natasha Vavrick delivering the guest speaker address at TasTAFE's International Women's Day luncheon. This year's theme calling for swift action to reach gender equality, especially in the workplace.
We need to be offering flexibility for our women. Women are often the main caregivers of their families, so we need to be able to be accepting of that.
International Women's Day is on Saturday. A group of university students is embarking on a 10-day marine voyage around the state as part of a unique training experience. It provides an opportunity to be hands-on with the ship's research equipment and systems.
Swapping the classroom for time on board a science research ship seemed like a no-brainer for these students.
To go out on a research vessel and contribute to science in real time and to work with experts in the field, I mean, yeah, you don't get that through a Zoom. Yeah, I jumped at the opportunity.
The group from universities across the country will call the RV Investigator home for 10 days while it travels around Tasmania, experiencing firsthand a wide range of marine science operations.
So everything from taking grabs of the sea floor to look at past Earth's history, net tows and deep tow cameras to look at marine biology.
I really view this opportunity as a way to broaden my horizon as a researcher and learn different disciplines.
There's even the potential to make some deep sea discoveries along the way.
With the opportunity to discover something that maybe no one else has seen, or certainly not in recent years has seen, is incredibly exciting, and I'm on a mission.
Including searching for a historic shipwreck of Tasmania's northwest coast.
On this trip we will be looking for the Empress of China vessel.
The voyage is part of Capstan, a tertiary sea training program that emphasises hands-on learning.
It really sets individuals up for not necessarily or just, a career in marine science, but as marine experts in general, marine policymakers, marine managers, marine educators is what we really want from this program.
All in a bid to help nurture a new generation of marine enthusiasts. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Salmon is launching an internal investigation into drone footage captured by Bob Brown Foundation activists at one of its Tasmanian farms. It shows live salmon being pumped out of pens along with dead fish and sealed into vats, presumably left to suffocate.
This is an industry that is out of control, that has no oversight, that pollutes our waterways, and here we now see them enacting intolerable cruelty to animals as well, and RSPCA chooses to certify it.
We hold ourselves to the highest animal welfare standards and will take all steps to understand what's happened in this instance.
Hewen has been using antibiotics to fight a mystery illness which is causing a higher than normal rate of fish deaths. And a shock bowel cancer diagnosis last year scratched a Tasmanian man's plans to run his first marathon. But fast forward to now, and Matthew Duggan has mapped out a mammoth journey across the state to remind young people they're not immune to the disease.
A bowel cancer diagnosis was the last thing Matt Duggan expected when he started experiencing symptoms almost a year ago.
Went and got checked out, told it was going to be okay, that because of my age it'd just be some polyps.
A colonoscopy revealing the then 36-year-old had a 10-centimetre tumour in his bowel.
Bowel cancer is the third most common cancer in Tasmania.
Massive whack in the face, but it was sort of like, what do we need to do? How do we need to fix this? And where do we go from here?
Matt confronted his diagnosis head-on, undergoing surgery and chemotherapy.
I feel, really good. I feel like that I can probably turn a negative situation into a positive situation.
That positive situation running from Cockle Creek at the southern tip of Tasmania all the way to Stanley.
Try and raise awareness, especially around bowel cancer in young people, and raise some money for Cancer Council Tas.
Aiming to run a marathon a day for 12 days to symbolise the 12 rounds of chemotherapy he received. Already crossing the halfway mark on his fundraising goal of $20,000.
I'm hoping to smash that out of the park and get as many people behind me and sponsor me as I can.
Running across the state with an important message for young Tasmanians.
So if you notice changes in your body, something's not quite right, go and see your doctor and ask them to get checked.
Matt is expected to begin his massive mission on May 3. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmanian News.
Months after launching flights from Launceston on the new generation Airbus A220 to great fanfare, the aircraft is quietly disappearing from the sky. Some passengers on flights from Launceston to Melbourne and Sydney are being rebooked as Qantas reverts to using smaller Embraer and Dash 8 aircraft. Qantas says the adjustment is temporary between now and October and that it looks forward to seeing more A220 flights return to Launceston later this year. A leading local charity says it's now assisting Tasmanians struggling financially every 30 minutes. The Launceston Benevolent Society welcoming a new leadership group to help with increasing demand for cost of living relief.
Diversifying everything that we do. In the past, people have always looked at us as just food relief. We are now supplying not only food, we're doing clothing, we're doing furniture.
I will be knocking on government doors. Very little grants are given. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of people to help.
The Society confirming it will continue to partner with other non-profits to support Tasmanians in need. Former Jack Jumper captain Clint Steindl has swapped drawing up game plans for financial ones after taking up a new role with My State Bank. The skipper has signed on as chief goal setter.
You're going to have instances where you're going to have setbacks and you're not going to feel like you're not going to be on the path where you want to be going, and I can try and help with the mindset of that.
He's a high achiever who's achieved many goals professionally and personally, so we're really excited to have him on board and take the role.
The new role also providing an opportunity to stay close to the court, working alongside the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers Junior League.
Usman Khawaja has caused quite a headache for Tasmania in the Shield, where it's do or die for both the Bulls and Tigers. Khawaja spending much of day one at the crease before Gabe Bell made the breakthrough with him on 127. The other thorn in Tassie's side, Lockie Hearn, racing towards a century of his own before being taken care of by Kieran Elliott.
Shot at the stump, is he gone? He's gone! And what a shot at the stumps.
Bo Webster has 3 wickets, the Bulls 6 for 309 at stumps. Well, India might have booted Australia from the Champions Trophy, but when it comes to Masters cricket, the Aussie team, stacked with familiar faces, is showing they're certainly not over the hill yet. Tasmanian Xavier Doherty leading the way in the rip-roaring win over India at the International Masters T20 League, taking 5 wickets, including Sachin Tendulkar, and teaming up with fellow Tassie product Ben Hilfenhaus for a catch. The Aussies cruising to a 95-run win. Meanwhile, a big promotion for Tiger and Hurricane Heather Graham. She's been named to lead Australia A as they take on England in a T20 series later this month. The Rainbow Balls are inflated and ready for the TNL's Pride Round this weekend, featuring a crosstown clash between Cavaliers and Hawks, which promises to be a tough battle.
It always is. It's always awesome against Hawks. And yeah, like I said, they're always the benchmark for the season, so it was good to see where we're sitting.
While we're there to be fierce competitors and give it our all to win the game, we're all there as part of something much bigger than ourselves and the result of the game.
Both teams are undefeated, sitting first and second on the ladder. Tasmanian basketballer Micah Simpson's Bendigo Spirit are 1 win away from the WNBL Championship after a 10-point win over Townsville Fire to kick off the best-of-3 final series. Game 2 is scheduled in Townsville on Sunday. And after breaking the Chargers' hearts at the end of last season by deciding to leave basketball alongside husband Clint, Kayla Steindl has changed her mind, electing to come back for another NBL 1 season, and her coach could not be happier.
I was planning on us being home all winter as a family, and then once Clint retired, I thought, well, we can't all be home every weekend. That's too boring.
The load she had to carry, both from an on-court perspective in terms of actually putting the ball in the basket, but also the leadership aspect. It was a heavy load to take.
Steindl averaged 19 points and 2 assists for Hobart last season. Yeah, she would have been a big loss, that's for sure, Kim.
Yeah, great news, isn't it? Thanks, Nick. Well, Kaya will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart reached 18 today, Launceston 24, warming to 26 in Devonport and 23 at Burnie. A lovely 25 degrees recorded at Luncheon Hill, Low Head and at Strawn 24, 21 on Flinders Island and at Ouse, King Island and Friendly Beaches 20, 18 on Marai Island. Grove and Lyweni managed 17, with minimum temperatures generally 2 to 5 degrees above average. Cloud was seen about the east and south, which slowly reduced this afternoon. Low cloud is visible across the state and coastal parts of Victoria and New South Wales. Tomorrow, a large high-pressure system will extend across Tasmania as Tropical Cyclone Alfred lies immediately to the east of Brisbane. East to southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots about the north, with variable winds increasing up to 15 knots elsewhere, while southwesterly swells sit at 3 metres. Partly cloudy towards the south tomorrow. Hobart 23, 25 the maximum at Huonville and Campania. Launceston partly cloudy also, 27 the high, much the same in Devonport, 23, a fine and sunny 21 at Georgetown. Some partly cloudy skies for the west, Burnie and Strawn both aiming for 22 and 23 at Wynyard. St Helens and Port Arthur, partly cloudy 22, similar conditions in Swansea with 24 degrees. Saturday, fine apart from light showers in the north, most likely about the ranges. Much the same on Sunday, except for more light showers in the north, but more likely about the northeast. And for our public holiday Monday, showers developing about the south and east, then to most remaining districts throughout the day, with possible afternoon thunderstorms firing up about the north. To mainland conditions now for Friday. Fine in Adelaide 34, 29 and sunny at Melbourne. A shower or two in Sydney 27, and Tassie sending love and best wishes to Brisbane tonight as Cyclone Alfred fast approaches. Hobart, partly cloudy, 16 degrees, partly cloudy also in Launceston, 23, and much the same at Devonport with 21. Relatively settled conditions across the island, Kim, with no warnings to report tonight.
Okay, good news. Thanks very much, Claire. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.